Havana, Cuba! Welcome to another Boozin with Jude. These maracas are from Cuba, or Cuba, as we say. It says Havana, Cuba. And on this side, right there, you can't see it, but it says Gloria. Who's Gloria, Jude? And why are you showing me these maracas from Havana? Gloria is my mother. My mother went to Cuba in like probably late 1930s. So like you could go then easily. And she said it was beautiful. And somebody made these for her and engraved them with her name on it. And I've had them ever since. She's left them to me. She didn't leave them to me. I took them, when she passed away. It wasn't in her will. You can have my maracas. But I treasure these because I want to go to Cuba someday. She said it was a beautiful place, and I'm envious that she's gotten to visit, and I haven't. Why are we talking about Cuba? What did I promise you? The mojito. Mojito. It's time to talk about rum again. Arr. We won't do the pirate thing. I think that got a little old for you folks yesterday. The mojito. It's a very popular drink, folks. In fact, oddly, in 2016, and I say oddly because it does seem odd to me, I'm not sure I believe it, but somebody did some sort of survey and it was the #1 drink in both Britain and France. Imagine that. Britain, we love our gin. Britain. France, we love our wine, our champagne, our cognac, our armagnac, blah, blah, blah. Nobody ever says anything about rum, but yet the mojito, rum-based, is their favorite. Jude, I don't really believe that. You know what? I don't either, but I read it on the internet, so it must be true. Anyway, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the mojito, and then we're going to get right down to basics and make it. It's a beautiful day for a mojito. Max is off at the doggo daycare person with Cassidy. I love Cassidy, Jude. I wish I could live with Cassidy. Blah, blah, blah. Fine, Max. I'll just sit here and drink mojitos. You stay at Cassidy's. Okay, so the history of the mojito, as everything else, clouded in mystery, made up. We're going to give you the made up version. So, back in pirate days, back in British naval days, again, medicinal, there was the sugarcane rum that, they, made in Cuba, and it tasted like crap, but people drank it. And so the British sailors, in order to find some medicinal stuff and to really wash away the bad taste of this alcohol that they wanted to drink because it was alcohol, they put like the local stuff in it. So what? Like mint, crazy mint. It's all over the place. Limes all over the place. And what else is all over the place? Sugarcane. So to sweeten it, to kind of hide the taste of this stuff that they used to drink that they called rum. That's one thing. Who knows? Could be something else. But what we do know is it became a wildly famous drink in like 1930 because lots of famous people were hanging out in Cuba and drinking the mojito. And people like Brigitte Bardot, people like Errol Flynn, people like the journalist Ernest Hemingway. Now, we know Hemingway loved his daiquiris, and that was his drink. And in fact, I'm going to do his daiquiri later. It was based on the daiquiri I made yesterday, but, he wanted it boozier. So he made one boozier, and it's pretty cool. But he also quite enjoyed the mojito. So there's a place in Cuba famous for the mojito, and it's authentically Cuban place. Cuban music, Cuban food, which it's known for. And a lot of people have signed the wall. And apparently on the wall, along with signatures by people like Errol Flynn, like Nat King Cole, there's one by Ernest Hemingway, signed himself, and it says, "My mojita en la boguerita," which is the name of this place, La Boguerita del Medio, I believe. "My mojito en la boguerita, my daiquiri in La Floridita," which is the place where he drank his daiquiris, La Floridita. So if you ever get to Cuba, you must go apparently to La Boguerita, have a mojito, see all the famous people who have signed the walls. You can see Ernest Hemingway's quote himself. Apparently, he quite liked the mojito. So these famous folks were hanging out in Cuba, living the life, brought it back, and it's quite a well-known drink and well-loved drink. And it's a summer drink. And if you got, a lot of people have been saying, I got tons of mint overrunning my garden. Guess what? When you have lemons, make lemonade. When you have mint, make a mojito. Mojito. So what am I going to do? First of all, this is for my mother's crystal glass. It might be a little small, but I want to use it. Honoring my mother, who is like the only person I know that really got to hang out in Cuba and talk to me about it. Mint. So you want to use 10 or 12 mint leaves. Good amount of mint. Save some for the garnish. Now, I don't have a garden overrun with mint. I have like a little plot of dusty, weedy land out back where Max goes and does her business, and I sit out there at night. But there's nothing growing there except gross stuff. So I bought my mint. I got plenty. Save some for the garnish. So first thing you do is you take your mint, strip your mint, and I slap it because you can smell it right away. It sort of brings out the flavor. And you're going to want to muddle it. So if you don't have a muddler, well, get something to muddle it with. But you don't want to shred it. You just want to muddle it in with the other things that you're going to put in there so that you have that mint flavor coming through. So it should be very minty. And then we're going to take, here we go again with the limes. Jude trying to crush her limes. Oh, great. They don't even fit in here. This is going to be fun. About an ounce, so about a whole lime. Lime is an important part of this drink, and I'm going to not do this too well, I'm afraid. Probably should have done this in a bigger glass. Are you laughing at me yet? You know what? I'm going to use my hands. So put your lime in there. Come on, lime juice. Come on out. Don't make me look bad in front of my people. My peeps here. The Boozin with Jude peeps, all 5 of you are going, Jude, come on. There's no lime coming out of there. Well, there is some. It's just that I can't squeeze really well. Good thing I wash my hands. By the way, I'm glad I mentioned that. Wash your hands. Wash your fruit. Wash your mint leaves. We're in virus era. We don't know where the stuff is, who's been touching it, what's been touching it, where it's been. So I'm really having a hard time with a lot of kids. But bear with me. It's all part of making a drink. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's not. We want it to be worth it. Do I think I got an ounce of lime juice in there? I don't think I did. This lime was not easy to squeeze, but you know what? We're going with it. Wish I had something to wipe my hands with. Oh, I do. My little bar towel. Okay, so got our lime and our mint in there, and then the next thing is a sweetener. Now, it's a sweet drink. It's meant to be a sweet drink. Here's the thing. You can use castor sugar. That's maybe the original mojito. Castor sugar is basically a very, very fine sugar. So like think of powdered sugar and think finer. You almost can't see the grains of the sugar in there. Or you can use, powdered sugar. You can use simple syrup. Remember I told you about simple syrup? Or the darker one, I'm using honey. I'm using a honey syrup, which is made the same way as a simple syrup with sugar. Equal parts honey and water. I love honey in the mojito. I really, really do. And if you get a really nice honey, a really floral honey, oh man. But use whatever you want. And here's the question, how much? You know what, I'm gonna say an ounce. Some people might go an ounce and a half. Some people might think an ounce is too much. This is one where it's a matter of taste for you. It's supposed to be a sweet drink, but maybe you don't want it too sweet. I don't know what to tell you on that one. I feel like I should get more lime in there. There's a few more squeezes in there. And, so you have to experiment with that. But, I'm a big fan of the honey in the mojito. So if you want to make a honey syrup, great. Now, before I put in the alcohol, I'm going to muddle it. I'm going to muddle it gently. I'm going to show you. I'm going to muddle it gently. I don't want to shred the leaves at all. I just want to get them enough so that it's, that a flavor comes out of those leaves. Okay, so 2 ounces of rum. We're going to stir this, by the way. The reason we're going to stir it is because we want the mint leaves to stay in there. If we're shaking it on ice, we're not going to get those mint leaves out of that shaker, really, are we? So there's a good 2 ounces of rum, and I'm putting that in there just for good measure. That wasn't really a good 2 ounces. That was just a little short. Then we're going to just stir it. And then we're going to put the ice in. So we're going to stir it up. Put the ice in, and then you'll stir it again. And another reason we can't shake the drink when it's all like complete is because it's topped with club soda. If you start shaking that, what happens? What happens when you shake a can of Coca-Cola and then you open it in front of your friend's face? Well, number one, they're not laughing at you. Number two, it goes all over them. So same with club soda. It's too fizzy. We don't want it. So we're stirring this. Now we're going to just fill the glass with ice. In the meantime, I've been talking. My ice has been melting. And remember my rule about putting as much ice as you can in the glass to keep it cold and to keep it from watering down. And then we're going to top it. Still feel like there should be more lime juice in there. We're going to top it with club soda. So maybe about equal parts club soda and this stuff, rum. Then you're going to stir it again. So give it a good stir. Get that all mixed up in there. You want to make sure to get that honey. If you're going to use the honey syrup, remember it's a little thicker, and so you gotta really give it a good stir. And so the mint should all be at the bottom of your glass. And then you can, like, I don't know, garnish. Why garnish? You're just going to take it out, right? Garnish it with a mint leaf. Ladies and gentlemen, quintessentially Cuban, from La Boquita del Medio. Cheers to Ernest Hemingway. Salute to you all. This is hoping everybody has a great mojito-filled summer. What a refreshing drink. Needs a teeny bit more lime juice. I'm going to just encourage you, don't go too light on the sweetener. You know, this is one of those drinks where you do want it to be sweet, you know, kind of cut the acidity of the lime and the mint. And it's a fantastic thing, and rum is a perfect drink for it. Now, there are other versions. This is a very versatile drink. If you want a Mexican mojito, you're putting tequila instead of rum. If you want a dirty mojito, you're putting brown rum, brown spiced rum in there, and maybe some using brown cane sugar sweetener for your drink. If you want, you know, probably a British mojito, you're going to use gin. People substitute all sorts of things. You can take out the soda water and use champagne or a prosecco, but a champagne, which would make it a royal mojito, and that is a nice drink. So this is just the plain old mojito in my mother's crystal. Thinking about my mom back in Cuba. I wonder if she ran into Ernest Hemingway. So guys, enjoy your mojito. I made a mistake in my daiquiri one and said I was going to do a bunch of rum drinks, and the next one would be the Cosmopolitan, and oops, that's not made with rum. Jude, you're an idiot. It's made with vodka. I might do it nevertheless, but what I'm thinking is probably in one more rum drink before we move on. Okay, so I'll think about it. You guys stay tuned. Thanks for joining me in Boozin with Jude. And if you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, you know what? I'd love it. It makes me feel like I'm actually talking to somebody out there. Have a good day. We'll catch you next time, and peace out.